every time that Donald Trump does something horrible, in other words, every single day, I think, oh, this is finally going to be the day that his base of voters turns on him. Oh, look, he's separating families at the border. Yes, this is going to go too far. His base of Christian voters believe in the tradition of family. This is going to make them absolutely furious. And then every time, they just don't seem to care. Even worse, they applaud. Well, about as hard as you can applaud with a beer in one hand and a vial of meth in the other. Look, I can't decide which I find more unsettling. Whatever the horrible thing is that Trump did, or that about half of Americans don't seem to think that it's actually all that bad. So look, on this episode of Be Less Stupid, after exhaustively reading, studying, and talking to Trump voters, I have compiled what I think of as a pretty extensive list of all of the reasons that Trump's base continues to pledge their allegiance to him. Now look, obviously, not each of the following will relate to every voter. However, I think every voter's reason for their continued support of the president will be represented by something on the list. So here goes. And by the way, these are in no particular order.
Got it? You want more? You want more, baby?
Oh, and we're going to do the list, because it's so long, in two parts. I will post both videos simultaneously, and there'll be a link down below for part number 2. Okay, here we go. There are just some people who care about nuts and bolts political or economic practicality more than they care about morality. There are just some people who are willing to overlook lying, cheating, infidelity, corruption, Russia, obstruction of justice, and putting ketchup on steak if it means lower taxes, fewer government regulations, more conservative judges, and so-called American jobs being done by Americans and not foreign workers. Like, for example, Trump's current wife, or his first wife, or any of the other Slovenian models that he did coke with off of Vidal Sassoon's ass in the piss-stained bathroom of Studio 54 back in 1982. Trump is a modern-day P.T. Barnum, and his theatrics just stimulate the brains of some people in a way that other politicians do not. I'm talking to you, Amy Klobuchar. Going to a rally and shouting, "Lock her up and build the wall," engages the brains of some voters in a way that debating the nuance of single-payer healthcare versus PPO does not. Plus, it's something for these people to do between tailgating parties during monster truck season. There is a psychological phenomenon called confirmation bias. It's where people tend to trust new information that confirms what they already believe and to distrust information that conflicts with their previously held beliefs. Let me give you an example. Take Sean Hannity. When it was suggested that Barack Obama would meet with North Korea's leader, Hannity said it showed how weak Obama was and that he was being played by a savvy and murderous and corrupt foreign dictator. Alternatively, when Trump proposed meeting with North Korea, Hannity said it was savvy politics and that Trump was projecting U.S. strength. Of course, you always have to factor in that Sean has a severe closed head injury, and his nickname, even among friends, is Douche Nozzle. Like the sword swallower or the boy with lobster hands, Trump is a sideshow freak. And some people, accustomed to the high drama of reality TV, they just find Trump entertaining.
That's what it is.
Then again, by the way, so is Space Mountain. But I don't think Space Mountain would make a very good president. Well, for one thing, how would Stormy Daniels have sex with a roller coaster? Look, there is a portion of Trump's blue-collar base who say they do hard work and manual labor from 9 to 5. They come home, they take care of their kids, and are good to their wives. And they're sick and tired of the so-called coastal elites in media who they believe think less of them for working with their hands instead of their minds. By the way, among the base, the ones who are, quote, good to their wives are also known as, quote, not hardcore enough. Donald Trump's primary messages of building a wall and banning Muslims plays into a deep-seated fear among predominantly conservative men who are deeply, deeply afraid of 5 things: crime, death, losing their job, being unable to take care of their family, and losing their identity. For these voters, scared of, say, death and poverty, Trump's anti-Muslim, anti-Mexican rhetoric salves those fears. Numerous studies have shown that people afraid of death tend to act more violently towards those they perceive as putting them into harm's way.
Shut the fuck up. Stop lying. Shut the fuck up.
Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Number one! Number one! Donald Trump! Number one!
And this goes a long way towards explaining why so many of Trump's voters are so violent towards liberals. Of course, by the way, some of these people are also just assholes. By the way, that is a medical term, so no attacking me in the comments. For some people, fitting into their community and having a frictionless life is more important than facts and truth. In a rural Kentucky town, for example, it would be very hard to be the only family with a Hillary for President lawn sign. It's the kind of thing that would get you kicked out of the trailer park. Also, rooting for a team changes your view of reality. Think about it. If you're in the stands at a football game for your hometown team and your quarterback gets hit very hard, then there's a replay on the big screen. As the hometown fan, you're much more likely to see the hit as a violation of the game's rules. And then when the ref calls it fair and legal, you boo and you're incensed. It's because rooting for a team changes your view of reality. Most of us say we know how a toilet works, but when pressed to explain precisely the mechanics and science, we would realize we don't exactly know shit about how a toilet works. However, what we do know is that someone knows, and that knowledge is known by an expert, a plumber. Now, there are some people who have chosen Fox News to be the experts that they rely on for knowing how politics works. If you press nearly anyone to explain single-payer health care, right, it would be hard to articulate. However, Fox viewers trust Sean Hannity. He says it's socialism, so for them, it's bad. Even though it will mean that fewer of them are going to have health care, and that more of them are going to die in a freak tiki torch accident. There is a term in psychology called the Dunning-Kruger effect. It describes a situation in which people are unaware of how unaware they are. Scientists also call this, by the way, the Larry the Cable Guy syndrome.
Always respect our great American flag.
Okay, that is it for part 1 of my series on why Trump voters continue to support the president and how science can help explain it. If you would like to support my work, by the way, you can now order Be Less Stupid t-shirts on our website. Just go to belessstupid.com and click the link for shop. Also, please remember to share this video on social media and to tell your friends. And if you're new to the channel, by the way, please click the subscriber button and be sure to click the bell icon so that you'll be alerted when new videos premiere. As always, thank you all for watching. I know that you have limited time and lots of choices, and I really appreciate you choosing to watch me. After all, we've got a lot of work to do together to get rid of Donald Trump. And by the way, if you see Nancy Pelosi, tell her it is time to impeach. For Be Less Stupid, I'm the host, Jon Hotchkiss, and I will see you next time.